Welcome to another Untech video at the end of 2022. Excuse the lack of a background. I still don't have my new system set up, ready to go, but it's time to pump out some more content. So today, we're going to take a dive into scraping Airtable, right? A subject that's come up recently with all the new layoffs that are happening and a lot of layoff lists going on Airtable. So here is a simple and non-technical way to go about doing that. Coming up next. Welcome back. Airtable, coming quite the rave, right? Anytime there's layoffs, Airtable seems to rise up to the top, just short of Google Sheets in terms of popular programs to use. Layoff lists, unfortunately, are coming back into style, which is not a great thing. But it brings up some challenges from a scraping standpoint. Here we have what clears to be an Airtable, kind of pasted in the middle of a frame. You could try all your normal things, but it's just not grabbing. It's not even detecting it. Can't do any sort of weird copy and paste. That's not going to work. But I can grab the whole thing, but it's 919 records, and I got to figure out where this is heading from. Now, I always mention this. Don't outsmart yourself. Don't do the extremely hard without thinking about the simple. Check to see what your options are. We have this view larger version. Let's click into that. What is that going to show me? Pretty much the same thing. It's still sort of embedded in, so I don't like that. Let's get out of that for a second. And here I have a print view, a group filter. Once in a while you'll see export, right? And why go through all these steps when it's just going to let you export it anyway, and that's easier. So let's go into inspect, and I got to figure out where this data is coming from. So in my elements, I'm going to use this little selector thing and just highlight the whole page and see where it comes from. So here we see I'm in the body. I could tell because the page is turning colors. I go one down, and it looks like it starts. That's too slim. Somewhere around there. And when I open it up, what do I find? An iframe, right? Just what I expected. And I see there's a link here, right? So let's click on that link. Let's go to there. Let's copy it, go to, and it's going to open up, get these windows out of here. It's going to open up the actual part of where it's coming from again. Kind of check to see if there's anything else I could do here. There isn't. And I could try my go-to regulars, right? Here's my instant data scraper, and I see that it's pulling some things. Looks like it's pulling everything but name, but it's only getting me 31, and I know there's 900 records right down here. So, I could try to paginate, right? Maybe there's a infinite scroll, start scrolling, and maybe this knows how to scroll down. It doesn't. What if I manually scroll it and do start scrolling? It's not picking up anything else. Still at 30 rows. So that's not going to work. I could try cut and paste, right? That's usually pretty easy. Can I get this to drag over? No. That's not going to work. So we're going to have to go a little bit deeper. So the first thing I do is go back into our DevTools, right? And I'm going to go into Network tab and refresh it. And let's see if we could find ourselves an API call, right? Where is it interacting with the API, called an API endpoint? It seems like there's only two things. Let's look at this one right here. It's not giving me anything. There's no response. There's no data coming out of here. Let's reload this whole thing under all and see if we could find anything. Anything to tell us where on earth this data is coming from. There's a report here. There's a bit of a payload. Runtime, internal metrics, not really what we want. And there's a Sentry one, which has no good response on either of these. Sometimes I'll click these two. Will it load up anything? Nope. Doesn't load it up. So we're sort of stuck here, right? And that's sort of where this really simple hack comes in. I'm going to show it to you right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to print it. Print view. And we're going to tell it we want to wrap long text. We want to fit everything on one page. And for the hell of it, let's choose the biggest page possible. What's that? 11 by 17 tabloid? I don't know, I think that's the biggest. Landscape. Let's print that. Now, it's going to load up a print screen, but since we have 9,191 records, this is going to take a little bit longer to view. So go into your more settings while you're here. You don't care about that. And change it to PDF. Now, get rid of background, headers and footers are okay. And we're going to give it a second to load. We're going to click save. Now, I'm going to pause my recording for a minute because this does take a couple minutes, but it will work. Okay, it took about 2.5 minutes, but as you could see, it has worked, and it's going to give me an Airtable grid. We're going to call this Airtable 2 because I've already done this, so we're going to save it. And so you see it actually loaded up a bit of a preview on what it's going to look like here. So now that that's done, we can go ahead and pull up that file. Now, let's go into my file explorer really quick and pull it up. All right, so here we have everything that we need right here in a grid format. We can see that there's, yep, all 9,000 of them. And now we're going to convert it. Now, I don't know whether you need a pro account or, the advanced PDF program to do this, but it's relatively easy to acquire through your job or through many other places. I believe you could find it on some of the gray sites. So when we're going to go to save as other, and we're going to now convert it into, no, let's try export, that works better, to a spreadsheet, Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. And we're going to name this Airtable 2 Grid View and click Save. Now, it's going to take a bit of time to do this, especially if you have, 9,000 records, but it should take about half the time. We'll pause it. And it ends, and it automatically opens it up in Excel format. So you have most of it. You still have these annoying, dots to contend with and some other weird kind of stuff going on under there. But let's ignore that for a second. Now, you happen to have Excel. Just go ahead and save as, and save it as a CSV. That should clean it up just a little bit, and we'll see what we're working with. Let's save that. If for some reason we can get this out of memory now. If for some reason you don't have Excel, you're a Mac person, or I don't know, whatever the case is, go ahead and import it into Google Sheets. It will take a little bit, but let's go ahead. But same sort of concept, right? Just going to import it. You're going to replace the sheet, import data. Now, it was pretty instantaneous loading up on Excel. This isn't as long as it takes to convert it, but it takes a little bit. Now, once you have the document converted into a CSV, or comma separated values, that should essentially strip out all the nasty bits. And we're going to import that into Google Sheets. Here's a CSV I created. And let's go ahead and replace current sheet, detect immediately. And this will load up pretty quickly. Now, if you wanted to do the original conversion from Excel into CSV, you could do it in Google Sheets, but it would take a lot longer because it takes longer to load. So what you see here is we have all the columns we need, except we have too many of these sort of header columns. So let's go to create a filter here, and let's filter it. Clear that, and just the ones that have a pound sign, which is that. And here are all your extra cells, which we're going to clear and then delete. Now, because there's quite many cells, this could take a bit of a moment to clear. Go to data, remove filter, and here you have it. You could probably delete this grid row over here. We don't really need it, this column I mean. And here we have it. We deleted the first row, but name, title, company, LinkedIn, email. Let's expand that a little bit so you can see LinkedIn, email, industry type, location, and layoff date. All, see how many we have. Scroll down to the end. All 9,193. And as I continue to scroll up, you see data is very good. There's a couple, or the spacing is a little bit off. That's just really just a row height thing. It's pretty legitimate. There's a few that, had missing information, but I believe that was also missing on the sheet. So here you go. Lots of people to reach out to, tons of email addresses, and do something nice. Recruit people who have been laid off and provide them with opportunities. With companies cutting, 30, 40, 50% of their workforce, there is no difference between someone passive and someone active in the marketplace. Believe me, companies like Twitter, Lyft, they didn't have 30% dead weight, right? They got rid of a lot of really good people, likely by arbitrary means. So go ahead and, find some people some jobs.